I never believed in parallel worlds or supernatural stories until the day I found a second version of my house hidden deep in the woods behind my property. I had lived in rural Oregon for 6 years, and I knew every trail, every tree, and every corner of the forest surrounding my home. One cold October afternoon, after returning from work, I noticed a narrow dirt path cutting through the trees where no path had ever existed before. Curiosity got the better of me, and the next morning I decided to follow it. At first, the walk felt normal, but the deeper I went, the quieter everything became. The birds stopped singing, the wind disappeared, and an unnatural silence settled over the forest. After nearly 20 minutes of walking, I saw something through the trees that instantly made my blood run cold. Standing in the middle of a clearing was my house. At first, I thought I had somehow become lost and wandered back home, but that was impossible. The trail had gone in a straight line the entire time, yet there it stood, an exact copy of my house. The blue siding matched perfectly. The cracked gutter above the porch was identical. Even the old tire swing hanging from a tree in the backyard was there. Every detail looked exactly the same. As I stepped closer, a terrible feeling settled in my stomach. The front door stood slightly open. I knew my real front door was locked. The duplicate house seemed to be waiting for me. Every instinct told me to turn around and leave, but curiosity pushed me forward. I climbed the porch steps and carefully pushed the door open. The smell inside shocked me immediately. It smelled exactly like my house: coffee, old wood, and laundry detergent. The living room looked identical to mine. The same couch sat against the wall. The same bookshelf stood in the corner. Family photos hung in the same places. I picked up one of the framed pictures and immediately noticed something strange. It showed me and my parents at my college graduation, but my father was smiling. In reality, my father hated photographs and never smiled in them. As I examined more pictures, I discovered similar differences. They were all moments from my life, but slightly altered, as though someone had rewritten small parts of my history. I moved through the house room by room. Everything looked familiar, yet wrong in subtle ways. Books I had never owned sat on shelves. Decorations appeared that I had never purchased. Then I entered the bedroom and found something that stopped me completely. On the nightstand stood a photograph of me standing beside a woman I had never seen before. We looked incredibly happy together. My arm rested around her shoulders, and she smiled directly at the camera. Written on the back of the frame were the words, "Forever yours, Emily." I didn't know anyone named Emily, yet looking at her face triggered a strange sense of familiarity, like a forgotten memory trying to surface. While exploring the hallway, I discovered a door that did not exist in my real house. Behind it was a staircase descending into darkness. My actual home had no basement, yet this house somehow did. Gripping a flashlight tightly, I slowly walked down the stairs. The air grew colder with every step. At the bottom, I found a massive room covered from floor to ceiling with photographs, thousands of them. Every picture showed me, but in different lives. In one image, I wore a military uniform. In another, I stood beside a police cruiser. In another, I held a baby in my arms. It was as if every possible version of my life had been documented and displayed in that room. At the center of the basement sat a wooden desk with a leather journal resting on top. I opened it and immediately felt my hands begin to shake. The first page contained a date 11 years in the future. Beneath it were 4 chilling words. "He finally found us." The handwriting looked exactly like mine. As I turned more pages, I discovered entries describing events that had not happened yet. Some pages spoke about different versions of me. Others mentioned houses hidden between realities. Then I heard heavy footsteps coming from somewhere upstairs. Someone was moving through the house, someone other than me. The footsteps slowly crossed the floor above the basement. I switched off my flashlight and listened. Whoever was upstairs seemed to be searching room by room. Eventually, the footsteps stopped directly above the basement door. The silence that followed felt unbearable. After several minutes, I carefully climbed the stairs. The moment I reached the top, I noticed something had changed. The front door was now closed even though I had left it open. Several objects had been moved. A lamp was switched on. A chair had changed position. Most disturbing of all, the photograph of Emily had disappeared. I ran from the house and followed the trail back home as fast as I could. That night, strange things began happening. Around 3 in the morning, I heard knocking on my front door. When I checked the security camera, nobody was there. Moments later, knocking came from the back door, then from a window, then another window. The sounds moved around the house in a slow circle, always staying just outside the camera views. It was as though someone knew exactly where every camera pointed. The knocking continued until sunrise and then suddenly stopped. I barely slept. The next morning, despite my fear, I returned to the duplicate house hoping to find answers. This time, the house looked different. Written across the front door in dripping black paint were 6 words: "You were not supposed to come." My heart pounded as I stepped inside. The interior had changed overnight. Furniture sat in different locations, dust-covered surfaces that had been cleaned the day before. The house appeared years older. The journal now sat open on the kitchen table. New writing filled its pages. One sentence stood out immediately: "If you hear yourself speaking, run." At that exact moment, I heard a voice upstairs, my voice, softly calling my name. Terror exploded through my body. The voice sounded identical to mine in every possible way. It called my name again, this time from the hallway above me. I backed toward the front door while listening to footsteps moving slowly across the second floor. Then the voice spoke again. "Don't leave." I didn't wait to hear more. I sprinted out of the house and raced through the woods. Behind me, I could hear something following. The footsteps matched my speed perfectly. No matter how fast I ran, they remained the same distance away. Only when I reached my real house did the sounds finally stop. Over the following weeks, reality itself seemed to change around me. Objects appeared inside my home that had never been there before. Books I had never purchased showed up on shelves. Photographs displayed events I didn't remember experiencing. Worst of all, memories began appearing in my mind. Memories of Emily. I remembered conversations, vacations, and moments together even though I had never met her. Every day, those memories grew stronger. Sometimes I would wake up believing I had been married for years. Other times I could barely remember living alone. It felt as though another life was slowly replacing my own. Determined to uncover the truth, I returned to the woods once more. The path had widened dramatically. What had once been a narrow trail now resembled a road. When I reached the clearing, my breath caught in my throat. The duplicate house was no longer alone. Hundreds of identical houses stretched across the forest in every direction. Some had lights glowing in the windows. Others appeared abandoned. It looked like an entire neighborhood of alternate versions of my home. I walked toward one of them and entered through an open door. Inside, I found another version of myself sitting at a kitchen table. He was older, perhaps 20 years older than me, with gray hair and tired eyes. Strangely, he didn't seem surprised to see me. He explained that every house represented a different version of reality. Every major decision created another path, another life, another version of me. Most of those realities remained separate, but something had begun breaking the barriers between them. According to him, memories, objects, and even people were crossing from one world into another. Then he revealed the worst part. Eventually, only one version would survive. Before I could ask more questions, another figure appeared in the hallway. At first glance, it looked like me, but something felt horribly wrong. Its smile stretched too wide. Its movements seemed unnatural. The older version of me immediately grabbed my arm and dragged me outside. He explained that something existed between realities, something that copied people and spread from one world to another. The duplicate houses were not accidents, they were gateways. As we ran, I saw dozens of other versions of myself watching from windows and porches. Some looked normal, others looked twisted and unnatural. All of them stared silently as we passed. I eventually escaped back to my own house, but nothing was ever the same again. The forest beyond my property now looked normal, and the trail had vanished completely. Yet every morning I wake up to find the same photograph on my bedside table. It shows me standing beside Emily and two children I don't recognize. Written on the back are 4 words in my own handwriting. "We finally found you." No matter how many times I destroy the picture, it always returns. And every night, just before I fall asleep, I hear distant footsteps moving through rooms that shouldn't exist, growing closer with each passing day. Somewhere beyond reality, the other houses are still there, and I fear one of them is slowly becoming my home,